Dennis has gone and done it again. He acted out in a fit of gross stupidity. Let's see. Multi-particle cannons? Primed. Plasma batteries? Primed. Antimatter warheads? Armed. Polarizing the hull, raising the shields, and we're ready. Let's go.
Last week, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, white nationalists, and KKK members held a Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. On Friday night, they marched with torches and chanted the Nazi slogan, "Blood and Soil," along with other racist chants. A group of counter-protesters were there, and they were completely surrounded by the Nazis.
Funny how he speaks about racism and then shows an anti-Semitic quote. Let's elaborate. Judaism is not a race. Islam is not a race. Christianity is not a race. Hinduism is not a race. Buddhism is not a race. These are all religions, and unlike race, you can convert to any religion. Oh, I avoided addressing your claim that the protesters were surrounded by Nazis. But damn it, they stole my TARDIS. It's the only way they could be surrounded by Nazis, as Nazism died out in World War II. Oh, I forgot. Everyone who disagrees with you is literally Hitler. Their fan base, or those who are in agreement with them, are Nazis. Fucking ad hom.
Immediately afterwards, Trump failed to condemn the Nazis by name. Instead, he blamed the violence on many sides.
You want to know why Trump denounced all sides? You're gonna love this. It's because they were all in the wrong. No one was the good guy.
And I've seen a lot of people echoing that sentiment. When you talk about the murder of Heather Heyer, someone pops up and says, what about the violence that Black Lives Matter and anti-fascists have caused? But the problem with that is that it's drawing a false equivalence. Violence is inherent to Nazi ideology.
How is that a false equivalent? Violence is violence no matter how you slice it. Essentially what you're saying is, violence is acceptable when we do it. Violence against those meanies is nowhere near as bad as violence against us. Even when we preemptively provoke them and they defend themselves, violence is a staple in communism and socialism. But what Antifa wants is a communist utopia, while BLM keeps sucking on socialism's dick.
The belief that white people are superior and that they have to take back their country from people of color, that ideology gets people of color killed. There is no way to peacefully be a white supremacist.
Mr. Strawman, give me a break.
Okay, I'll toss him a bone on this one. While this is true in some cases, this is an argument that I've engaged in, and in this instance, it's a straw man. I never argued, nor have that many others, that people of color are the problem. The real problem are the Marxist retards who whine and cry like little bitches simply because no one wants their Stalinist utopia. And then they proceed to throw temper tantrums and harm people instead of self-reflecting and realizing that Marxism fails for a reason. When you try to destroy someone's culture and replace it with your own, you really should expect a hostile reaction.
Black Lives Matter, on the other hand, is an organization that states very specifically that its goals are to end violence and discrimination against black people. Their official website says, Black Lives Matter is working for a world where black lives are no longer systematically and intentionally targeted for demise.
Yeah, and they left out the part about not fixing ghetto culture, eliminating dependence on the welfare state, and the destruction of the nuclear family. I don't need to read about Black Lives Matter to see their true nature. Actions speak louder than words. BLM can talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. This is the same thing we see with feminism and communism. Feminism is denoted as equality for the sexes, but in reality, they advocate for female supremacy and fail to offer empirical evidence to justify themselves. Communism is denoted as a theory or system of social organization based on the holding of all property in common, actual ownership being ascribed to the community as a whole or to the state. The dictionary never mentions the insanely high body count produced by communist regimes, nor does it illustrate the hardship and human rights abuses that occur under those regimes. The death toll is estimated to be anywhere from 94 million to 110 million. That's why a lot of people oppose communism. It has not only always ended in failure, but has given rise to regimes that can only be described as pure evil, with a callous disregard for human life. And the sad thing is, communists nowadays believe in this "the ends justify the means" mentality, with almost religious fanaticism, threatening anyone who dares to disagree with them.
That is completely antithetical to the purpose of white supremacists. They are not two sides of the same coin. Nazis believe in white superiority and in the eradication of people of color. Black Lives Matter believes in black people being treated fairly and equally in society.
Black Lives Matter supports racial equality and egalitarianism? Tell me more about how burning towns and injuring people simply because of their skin color is so helpful to black people. Martin Luther King Jr. is probably doing a 360 in his grave. If I could bring him back without damaging time, I would do it in a heartbeat. He was a model citizen, and this is a sentiment being shared by a white male and a gray alien. That should speak volumes.
Are there people who commit violence and claim association with Black Lives Matter? Yeah, sometimes, but those people do not represent the organization. They don't act in the values of the Black Lives Matter organization.
Did you just catch that? Just now? I was unsure about the Strawman, but I have this one dead to rights. It's the dreaded "no true Scotsman" fallacy.
In any large enough group, someone will commit violence. What matters is if that group's ideology promotes that violence.
No, you idiot. The only time violence is ever acceptable is self-defense.
In 2016, when a black man shot and killed 5 white police officers, the Black Lives Matter movement immediately condemned it and said that they call for an end to violence. But after Heather Heyer was killed, Chris Cantwell, one of the leaders of the Unite the Right rally, said that her murder was justified. In fact, in 2014, when 2 police officers were murdered, Cantwell said that their deaths were good news. During the Unite the Right rally, he said, "We're not non-violent. We'll fucking kill these people if we have to." And afterwards, he said, "A lot more people are gonna die before we're done here, frankly." But the Black Lives Matter movement has always been non-violent and has always called for an end to violence.
Yeah! Fight violence with violence. More violence is the answer. BLM is using violence to alter society in negative ways. Also, considering how the left regularly employs dishonesty to manipulate the public, I wouldn't be surprised if you pulled this stuff out of your ass.
In regards to anti-fascists, they're harder to pin down because they're not an organization with leaders like Black Lives Matter. But I will say this, violence against fascists is not the same as violence used by fascists.
Really? Well, tell that to Antifa, who use the exact same methods as the fascists do in order to further their own agenda. Rioting, smashing, and damaging private property, attacking anyone who disagrees with them or who criticizes them, censoring dissidents by blocking speeches and attacking attendees and audiences of those speeches and events. So no, they are like the fascists. They employ the same violent methods as the fascists do.
Anti-fascism is not fascism. The thing is, we can all agree that not all violence is equal. That's why we have laws that allow for self-defense. Sometimes violence is not justified, sometimes it is. I think that's something most people agree on. If someone tries to kill you and the only way you can protect yourself is to be violent towards them, you have every right to do so. Now that's easy to see in an individual scenario. If someone pulls a gun on you, you can feel justified fighting back. But on a large-scale societal level, that violence against you can be as simple as calling for your eradication. You can argue all day that words are not violence, but the Holocaust didn't pop up out of nowhere. It started with words. It started with the vilification of certain marginalized groups, and then it grew. The marketplace of ideas has already proven that it can fail spectacularly.
Hey, look! Riley has a moment of sanity and clarity in this morass of madness. Well, I think I'll leave it at there. It was a lot of bullshit, and I didn't feel like covering all of it. Anyway, if you have any suggestions or ideas, feel free to share them, and I'll see you next time.